career. You've had a very interesting, well, for me, it's very interesting. So can you tell me a little bit more about it?
Yeah, my degree was in linguistics originally, so I finished college and got out and said, like, what am I going to do? There are not a lot of jobs for people with linguistics degrees. So I decided to be a computer programmer, and I went back to school and was taking classes at a community college. And I was really fortunate because I lived right next to NASA Ames. I was taking classes there, and the professor was a teacher. I mean, he worked there. A lot of times people will moonlight at a community college, and he was moonlighting teaching a computer programming class, and the systems they were working on were getting kind of outdated, so it was really hard to get people who knew what they were doing to come and work there. So instead, they hired people like me, and he offered me a job, and I went to work for the flight simulation program at NASA Ames. It was a contractor. I wasn't officially a NASA employee, but that was really fun. We had a 6 degree of motion flight simulator. So it's one of these big boxes that kind of goes up and down and side to side. I only ever went in it once with somebody who was in astronaut training. They called and said, "You want to ride it?" I said, "Yes." I spent the entire time praying that I would not throw up on an astronaut. I didn't. So that's my claim to fame at NASA. I did not throw up on an astronaut, but it was a really close thing, and I did not go in the motion simulator again. You aren't right in a simulator. You have to really get used to it because even though they try their best, it's not the same as real acceleration. So, yeah, it's disturbing.
Have you worked at any other places?
Um, so after that, I met my husband there, as so many people do, and we got married and had our first son, and decided I wanted to work part-time. So I ended up being a technical writer for his company. He had moved to a different company at that point. So I took up technical writing, and I did a whole bunch of different technical writing jobs. I worked for a little company called Multigen, which was really wonderful because, again, it was a little startup. And when you work for these little places, you don't get put into a little box. It's just like, go do everything. So I got to write user guides for software manuals from scratch, which was really fun. They hand you the software program and you go out and figure how it works, and then you explain to other people how to use it. And those are a little out of date now. People mostly do videos for training, but back then that was kind of it. So I really enjoyed doing that. And then I moved on to a couple of other technical writing. I worked for MCI WorldCom for a while, and that was fun because it was a contracting shop, and they had brought in a lot of people from different countries. The people who ran it were Russian, and many of the people who worked there were Indian. So it was really fun. I got to learn about Indian holidays like Diwali and all sorts of stuff like that. Then we moved here, and I worked as a contractor for a while. And then I decided to do writing.